In Ireland, a 31-year-old Indian woman died from blood poisoning after doctors allegedly refused to perform an abortion, stating that this is a Catholic country. Irish authorities have launched a probe into the death of Savita Halappanavar, a dentist who was 17 weeks pregnant and suffering a miscarriage and septicemia at University Hospital Galloway last month. The dead fetus was later removed and Savita was taken to the high dependency unit and then the intensive care unit, where she died of septicemia on October 28th. A hospital spokesperson confirmed the health service executive had begun an investigation, while the hospital had also investigated an internal inquiry.
Tonight, anger and tears in the streets of Dublin as hundreds of mostly Irish women protested a death many say could have been prevented. This 31-year-old dentist from India, Savita Halappanavar, recently seen here with her husband Praveen, marking a Hindu festival and expecting their first child. Savita was 17 weeks pregnant when in late October she came to this hospital in Galway complaining of severe pain. When doctors told her she would miscarry her child, she and Praveen pleaded for an abortion, but were refused because the fetus still had a heartbeat. This is a Catholic country, they were told. In fact, Ireland is becoming less Catholic as immigrants like Savita change the country. Just days later, Savita did miscarry. She became infected and died of blood poisoning. Praveen described their last desperate moments together.
I was holding her hand. They were trying to pump her heart. The doctor just told me that just lost her.
Her death has rekindled a heated debate on abortion in Ireland, where decades of confusing laws say abortion is illegal unless the mother's life is in danger. But the Irish government has never offered guidance on what specific risks should be considered life-threatening, leaving doctors afraid to perform abortions even in extreme cases like Savita's.
Now triggering fierce debate in the Irish Parliament.
It is reported that she died of blood poisoning after, according to her husband, being refused determination while miscarrying.
Deputy Adams, there are two investigations taking place at the moment. I think it's only right and appropriate that the facts be determined by both of those investigations.
She had pleaded her doctor for a termination, but for 2.5 days, while her fetus had a heartbeat, they refused.
On Tuesday morning, she came back and said that I'm sorry, we can't help you because it's a Catholic country. Yeah. And, so can't help it. It's a Catholic thing. And Savita said that that she's not Catholic, she's a Hindu. So why, impose the law on her?
The hospital at the centre of the case has already begun an investigation. While they will not comment on the details of the case, in a written statement they say, in the case of a sudden maternal death, these procedures are followed. Notification of the death to the coroner, notification of the death to the HSE's National Incident Management Team, the completion of a maternal death notification form. These national procedures are being followed by Galway University Hospital.
Our bodies, our lives!
None of this enough to prevent passions far beyond Ireland from being lit. This demo outside the Irish Embassy in London, gathering not just to remember Savita, but stop a repeat of her tragic death.
Abortion, of course, is illegal in Ireland. It's based around the same thinking that the Catholic Church has about the sanctity of life. And yet when Savita went into hospital, she had already started to miscarry. What the hospital seems to have done is to make a decision to put a woman's life in danger in order to protect the rights of a fetus that had no chance of surviving. This shocking case has not only forced Ireland to confront its own contradictions about human rights, but comes as the political class here is having to face a demand from the European Court of Human Rights as to whether there are any circumstances in which abortion should be allowed.
If a case like this, taken together with the cumulative effects of 20 years of inaction, taken together with thousands of women travelling every year for a termination, taken together with the European Court of Human Rights telling us to get our house in order, if all of that together doesn't motivate the government to legislate properly and clearly, it's impossible to see what would.
The ban of the abortion of Ireland law and the second is the negligence of the doctors. I can say these two factors has taken place, and my daughter died on 28th October.
In an attempt to save a 4-month baby, they killed my 30-year-old daughter. How is this fair?
कुछ ना कुछ कहीं ना कहीं मानवता ह्यूमैनिटी ग्राउंड भी होना चाहिए कि इंसान मर रहा है और हम उसको ट्रीट नहीं कर पा रहे हैं, ये भी एक गलत था। तो मैं समझती हूँ कि वहाँ के लिए कुछ हमारे जो इंडियंस हैं या उस लेडी के जो फैमिली मेंबर्स हैं, उनको कुछ ना कुछ जरूर वहाँ की गवर्नमेंट से बात करनी चाहिए।
This case in Ireland is particularly shocking because it is nothing but a culpable crime. In the first place, no religion mandates that you watch a woman dying and you refuse to give her an abortion, which is what she needed. So this is a culpable crime, and certainly the government of India, since the young woman was an Indian citizen, the government of India should and must intervene.
Well, my thoughts are with the family, and I think it's a terrible tragedy and for any woman to lose her life during the course of her pregnancy. Obviously, the matter has been investigated by the HSE, and I don't think I should say any more than that, other than to extend my deepest sympathy to the family.
As thousands came out to show their support in Ireland, many in London did the same. I'm at the Irish Embassy in London tonight. The place is flooded with placards and posters with Savita's photograph on them. It's almost as if Savita has become a mascot for the pro-life campaign to push for change in abortion laws in Ireland. More protests are planned across London and Ireland for later.